In this video I'm going to talk about the emotion despair, the complete loss or absence of hope. It's associated with a feeling of hopelessness, and it can lead to depressive states of being, and worse, it can spiral down into that bottomless pit where you feel there's no way out. Your life is full of problems, and your life then becomes a problem. And this absence of hope is key to the emotive feeling of despair, because when you're in that frame of mind, then there is nowhere to turn. It feels as though there's nowhere to turn, as though you're boxed into a corner, as though you have run out of options, and this feeling of everywhere you turn there's a difficulty and there's no way out. You might feel cornered, alone, unable to create any space, and this mood can just take over you, this depressive state of mind. You will see the problems that you're faced with, and then they will run through your mind as thoughts, seemingly relentlessly every waking hour, and then of course you can lose sleep over the problems that you're facing and the things that you feel you've got no control over. And that's another key element of despair, is the feeling that you have lost control, that you have no control over the things that are playing out in your life. And then if this state of being continues for a long time, then you have a feeling of loss of control of the negative thoughts, and the loss of control of being in that state of despair. And this can have devastating consequences, both for you and for those who care for you, those who are in your life. Despair is often associated with isolation and feelings of loneliness and, as we've said, hopelessness. And so it seems to one emotion of negativity feeds the next, and there is seemingly no way out. You are cornered, and this is a very, very difficult place to be in, and also to get out of. So practical advice in this state of mind would be to talk to somebody, because that feeling of being alone and isolated is being unable to feel as though you can talk and unburden yourself to somebody else. And if you feel that there's nobody in your life that you want to talk to and unburden yourself with, then perhaps talking therapy may help. I know that's problematic in its own right, because of course if you in this country and you want help in that regard through the NHS, then there's a long waiting list, and just the length of time that you're going to have to wait is enough to put you off actually making that first step and asking for help. And then of course there's a financial implication if you're going to go privately. So these are difficult problems. But if there is any way you can talk or open up to anybody else, either a friend or someone in the family or professionally, then that's definitely the advice I'd give if you find yourself in that pit of despair. And we can talk about a recognition of the inner world, the deeper sense of being, and there is lots of information here on my YouTube channel and on my website, seeingnow.com. So there are resources that if you haven't got the luxury of being able to talk to somebody, you can listen to and read. And know that you're not alone. That people are facing similar feelings of hopelessness and despair, and have and are coming out of that, and that there are options for you, that actually there are ways to move from that constricted feeling of hopelessness where you can't turn. There are ways of starting to see the world differently. Sometimes it can be as simple as just leaving the house, going for a walk, and trying to set up a regular time for yourself to break from the routine, break from the inner world of fear, constriction and depression, and actually go for a walk. And if you can find a landscape like this, all the better. But sometimes just getting out and exercising can be the beginning of finding your way out of that depressive and desperate state, and just starting to open your eyes and look around you and look at the sea and the clouds and the sky, and look at the trees and the birds and the people that you pass by, and the cars and the lampposts and the houses and the hedgerows, and just start to open your eyes to what's happening and what is being presented to you in the world. And you don't have to do anything with that. That's just the first step. Just noticing and watching. You don't need a goal, a plan. You don't need to work out solutions to the problem or how to control things. You often just need to stop, slow down, and go for a walk and just look and just notice and just be aware of what's around you. And then you can possibly bring that awareness back into the home, back into the environment that is connected with the despair and the depressive thoughts, and maybe see that in a new way. And just look around you and see it through fresh eyes, the furniture and the room that you're in. Make yourself a cup of tea and really just taste that tea and just be with that cup of tea, and try and find a little bit of a peace of mind in the simple things, and try and let life unfold as it will, and just drop back into simple pleasures, a cup of tea, a biscuit, a walk, and just go back to basics, go back to the simplicity of being. But there's no getting around the fact that despair is one of the most difficult emotions to live with and to cope with.